When the jail opened in 1796, it was already in trouble. It was deliberately on top of a hill to catch the wind, but of course this meant it was also going to be exposed to the rain. Looks like the architect of the jail, the Scottish engineer, overlooked that. His name was John Trail, because he designed a building made mostly of limestone. Limestone absorbs and holds moisture. This jail got so wet, in fact, during the 9 years it took to build it, that when it opened in 1796, the ground floor couldn't be used for 9 or 10 months after that. So the very first cells used were actually here on the first floor. Yeah. The original jail was a county jail. That is, it was a jail for the county of Dublin, not the city, which has 6 others that didn't need it. And as a county jail, it's small. There's only 3 parts to it. The central body and 2 wings. In the central body, that's where you had the offices, the condemned cell, and the chapel. The cells are open in here. You can have a look into these. So we just walked through one of 8 exercise yards wrapped around the jail. That one was for women. The next one over there was for children, for example. But in each yard, in the centre, you walked in a circle, one behind the other, hands behind their backs, the head down, looking at the heels of the prisoner in front of them. They walked in silence, weren't allowed to look at or speak to another prisoner. Break the rules and they'd be punished. They could be put in a punishment cell in the dungeons. They could be given hard labour. They could be flogged or whipped.
C'est là du tout, ici, tout va. Ton entrée à vachement mieux. Ah, c'est ça, j'ai pas compris. Before independence, the Viceroy lived here, and this is where the entertainment took place. Now, the social season. Okay, so we're now standing in the most important ceremonial room of the castle. This room is where the Viceroy was 20 years later, to accommodate the smaller stature of Queen Victoria, they did remove 20 centimetres off the base of each of the legs of that throne. Yeah, so you will notice today we no longer have the lines across that once would have been there. Now, the last king to sit on that throne was King George V in 1911. Okay. Now this room is the portrait gallery, so all these portraits belong to the viceroys who lived and served here in Dublin Castle. Now the viceroys were appointed by the British monarch to serve here in this building. Now there's only 13 portraits because the art collection started in 1800, and the viceroy in power during that time was General Cornwallis. Now General Cornwallis was the same man who surrendered to George Washington at the Battle of Yorktown during the American Revolution. His portrait is the one at the end of the room by itself, and it is hanging lower than the other portraits, the reason being because he lost part of the British Empire. He was sent over to Ireland in 1798. During that time, the Irish were in contact with the French during the French Revolution, so a lot of French forces were coming over to this country, so he was sent over to quash those rebellions. Okay, so he was successful in that entity, and later he united the English, Scottish, the Scottish and English parliaments were united in. Okay, yeah, so today we call this room St. Patrick's Hall. It's where the President is inaugurated, and Eamon de Valera, he made that decision in the 1930s. So the President is sworn in beneath the Irish flag once every 7 years. So next year, Mary McAleese officially will have to step down, and they'll Okay. Yeah, we're not going to stay here for too long. This here is the courtyard. Okay, so the original castle was built here. So in 1204, there was like a tower in every corner. Everything was destroyed in the fire except for the tower, which you can still see to your right hand side. That was where records were kept. Also, it was the state prison. Okay, the castle often came under attack by the Gaelic chieftains. As a result, they were imprisoned in that tower. Now today it's still in use, but ironically it's a museum used by An Garda Síochána, who would be the Irish police force. Okay? So all this section was rebuilt in the 18th century. The statue... Okay, so this section here was excavated in 1986. Now the reason why they excavated this section, over the other side of the tower we have a small part of the moat, or the River Poddle. Now in the 80s there was a huge amount of rainfall in this country. The river started rising and the office above our heads was damaged.